You're watching the Battered Fans Network.
The Herons are champs. Yeah. Roll south to Freedom Park, rocking pink and black. Official tissue in the 305, bounty full of grapes. The Battered Fan with Chris and Dan dropping hot takes. Messi and the Herons start the season with a star on the crest. So 29 fan bases can cry, cause we the best. Sign homegrowns like Noah, Frey and Ruiz, replacing goats with greats. Yeah, Miles got the cheese and he called it. Freedom to dream was the backbone. From Lockhart to Miami, it feels good to be at home. Multiple times a week on YouTube and audio. Take the time to subscribe, like and share the show. So check and chat, grab your MLS cup and come in. No question about it, I'm ready to get a star again.
No question about it. I am ready to get hurt again.
Chris? The Herons are back. Welcome everybody to episode number 476 of the Battered Herons podcast. I'm your host, Daniel Gunnar, alongside me, as always, Mr. KBD. How are you doing, sir?
I just want to say Twitter has been such an amazing place the last 24 hours. I am reveling in the tears of our enemies.
Yeah. It has been fun. I can see why everybody's upset. But let me stop there. I need to make sure that we give our flowers to Luis, aka Reporter Guy. Because Reporter Guy came through and he started just knocking them out of the park one by one. And everything he said has come to fruition. I know a lot of people are doubting the Blackmon thing now because Vancouver was like, oh my God, like everybody's going crazy. We need to come out and say something. Let me tell you something. They say they didn't want to sell any players, right? That's what they said in the statement. They already got rid of Ali Ahmed. Jaden Nelson is also gone. They don't want to lose anybody. They've already lost two huge pieces. So I don't know.
Fire sale over there.
So I don't know. But shout out to Luis because he got it. He got it. And then for those saying the Herons are late, I'm assuming you haven't listened to all the episodes from this week because there was a couple times that I came on here and I said, it doesn't let me put the
Baby
start times
time.
after bedtime. Yeah, like I would love to say like, hey, we're going live after bedtime, meaning whenever my kids fall asleep. Unfortunately, I have to just wait for them to fall asleep and then I can come on. So yes, so I put 9:05, but sometimes and often I'm not here, but we're soon thereafter. And then yes, time to buy that beer. Yes, I told Luis that I was gonna hook him up on April 4th. First beer's on me. So yeah,
That's a good one.
Yeah, good times ahead. 45 days until kickoff, 87 days until Miami Freedom Park. So yes, I don't even know where you want to start, Chris, because a lot of things happen.
Shout out to everybody giving props for the intro. I appreciate it. I know somebody wrote in there with the AI slop. My daughter killed me for that, by the way. But I'm not an artist. I'm not gonna draw something, and that's what you guys are gonna get. And that's it was hard as hell working with that crap. So
Sure.
it is what it is.
All right. So
But Danny, I mean, we've been taking souls out here. Listen, I don't know what's happening, but Inter Miami is out here slanging and banging. And I love every single second of it. I love it.
well, yeah. Now, and shout out to somebody's birthday. Somebody's birthday. Here it is.
Killerman.
His birthday. Shout out to you, 35. Happy birthday to you. So Luis came out and told us a couple things, and he's gotten just almost all of them right. But there was one that was
It's pending.
not debunked.
It's pending.
Tom Bogert
pending.
came out and said it's not true, at least not yet. Vancouver said it's not happening. But regardless, we would like to go ahead and just in a hypothetical world, because I think that there is a chance that it happens. So in a hypothetical world, if Tristan Blackmon, the reigning defensive player of the year, were to come to Miami, what could we expect? So again, in a hypothetical world, right? Because if this ends up happening, now you can refer back to this episode and see what we're talking about. So we invited Sam from the Vancouver Third Sub Pod. What's going on, Sam? How are you doing, sir?
Doing pretty well. Yeah, we were chatting about this a little bit. What was it, a day or two ago? And
Yeah.
I gotta be honest, things moved faster than I expected. So it's been an eventful day in the group chats and things behind the scenes, trying to figure out exactly what's going on. Obviously, you guys mentioned two pretty strong conflicting reports. So to me that says that there's some negotiation going
Where
on.
there's smoke, there's fire.
Some posturing. Obviously, there's interest from Miami. There's interest around the league in the player. But for Vancouver, it's about being competitive and trying to be back in MLS Cup. So I think they're only going to make a move where they feel like they can, if they're going to take money for Blackmon, they have to feel like they can go and use that money immediately to remain a contender. So I think that's where it's challenging from a Vancouver perspective.
Now, in that aspect, they lost Ali Ahmed. They lost Nelson. I felt like you guys are that was some of your strength, the speed on the wings. But I feel like you guys have enough center backs where if you were going to lose a position, I think center back would be the one where you would be where it wouldn't cost you as much. I mean, he basically missed the last quarter of the season almost.
Yeah, exactly. And Ralph Priso, it sounds like, might be just transitioning to being a center back full time. And then you've got Ranko Veselinovic, who's going to come back from injury. Matias Laborda, who can play both as a fullback and a center back. Then you have Jodrick Pupe and Sebastian Schonlau, two players they brought in as Ranko Veselinovic cover that never really ended up seeing the pitch because the form was good enough that they didn't have to, and they were dealing with some injuries as well. So yeah, we had a podcast a couple of days ago, and we were actually chatting about the idea of selling high on Blackmon. Not necessarily as something you want to do, but something that if the right move came and someone was going to throw a bunch of money at you, that maybe you have to consider it. Now, I got to be honest, I wasn't thinking reigning MLS Cup champions Miami. I was thinking someone who has... someone like a San Jose I threw out there who struggled defensively for years, right?
Yeah.
Like they've never had a good center back. Would someone like that huck a bunch of money at Vancouver to try to pry Blackmon loose? I'm surprised by the Miami fit. And we can talk maybe a little bit about Blackmon himself and how he might fit into the mix. But so I'm not shocked. Obviously, teams want to pick up the reigning defender of the year if they can. And if they think they can throw enough money to convince Vancouver, I see why they would do that. I'm just really surprised at the team looking to do it.
Well, I think the deal here is he's going to go, if this was to go down, with the Dayton St. Clair move, where it's like, I'm willing to take less because I want more eyes on me.
Well, and the whole state tax thing too, right?
They don't know state tax in Florida.
Yeah. Like we deal with this in in NHL stuff all the time where people are complaining about the fact that Tampa Bay and Florida have this huge advantage. And so, Tristan Blackmon, especially playing up in Canada, it's like half your paycheck's out the window before you even step foot on the pitch, right?
Mm-hmm. So I guess, again, a hypothetical world. We're not reporting anything.
Danny, don't even say hypothetical. Like Jorge Mas is flying up there with bags of coins, like DuckTales, like a whole plane of coins that Blackman's gonna jump in.
Could you tell me the strengths and weaknesses of Tristan Blackmon?
Yeah, well, I think you saw them in the last 2 years of Vancouver Whitecaps football. So under Vanni Sartini, they played that much lauded and sometimes much critiqued zonal system. It was a true three at the back, and Tristan did not do very well in that system. Then you see Jesper Sorensen move to a 4. It's far more aggressive, proactive, high line, high pressure, and it fit Tristan Blackmon perfectly. It's why he's the defender of the year. Tristan has pace like a midfielder or even like an attacking player. Like he can really move. He's very aggressive. He can be physical when he needs to be. I think he reads the game incredibly well going forward. So when he sees something developing in the midfield and there's about to be a pass to a forward, he's the kind of guy that does his best defending by stepping into that space and cutting out the pass before the forward ever gets the ball. I think where Tristan would struggle is when it's 3 attackers versus 2 defenders and he's looking around in space trying to figure out who to mark, what space to fill. That's not where you want Blackmon, or like stagnant defensive situations where you're sitting in a low block. That's not really what Blackmon does best. It's all being proactive, being aggressive, being on the front foot, using his speed, his aggression, but then also that's all off the ball stuff that we just talked about. Tristan's also came from playing as a fullback, even like at the odd time as a center defensive mid before. He's a great passer of the ball. He can carry the ball as well. Maybe not going to like ping beautiful 40-yard crosses, but just in terms of taking the ball at his feet, moving forward with it, and then like making a really nice through ball or pass along the ground, he can definitely provide that for you. So I think as long as it's in a system where you're not asking him to do a bunch of like very traditional kind of Brexit center back defending type things, if it's kind of a modern defensive system, you're going to get a lot out of Blackmon, but he has to be used correctly.
And I think that's the important part here, is that Inter Miami and Mascherano have made it very clear that they want players that can play multiple positions. That's why they valued Lujan when they brought him in, even though he didn't end up panning out to be very good. Noah Allen can play center back last year, but he's really a left back. Tristan Blackmon, because I've been wondering, where does he fit? Because the Mikael signing is official. Falcon, one of the best defenders second half of the year. Would he be a starter? Would he come off the bench? Would he move to right back? Possibly. But it's interesting because you said that he did play fullback in LA. So those are all options. And I think that giving him that option of going ahead and possibly being able to fill 2 positions with as many games as Miami usually plays. Last year they played almost 58, I want to say. It's important also because they have a lot of midweek games.
It could be one of those things too where we've seen this several teams around the league where they have one highly aggressive fullback type, and then they have another more stay-at-home fullback type. And then Blackmon could, tuck into a 3 when your other fullback has surged forward, right? And just give you that extra cover. Blackmon could totally do that. He did that at times, being flexible in Vancouver as well. So, it's a very useful player. I have no doubt that if Miami brought him in, they would find a way to maximize that value. It's worth saying because some people are talking about in the comments like, oh, what role would he play? Would he start? The one thing I do think is worth pointing out is that remaining like fully fit and healthy has been a bit of a challenge. I mean, he missed a large part of the back end of the season. Knees definitely gave him some trouble. So I think that's something to consider whether you're Vancouver or you're Miami. This is a guy that's about to be 30. He's coming off. His stock has never been higher than right now. U.S. men's national team mix, defender of the year.
Yeah, defender of the year, of course.
It's just like the stock's through the roof. I mean,
if
you said $3 million for Tristan Blackmon going into the season, people would have laughed you out of the room, right? Like the ascension's been big. He's a great player, but at the same time, I do wonder about, this is everything went right this year. So can he back it up in 2026, whether that's with the Whitecaps or another team? I think that it is a question.
Yeah. All right. And so, Sam, what would you tell the Inter Miami fans before you sign off? Because I know we just wanted to hear a little more about Blackmon. Before you sign off, what would you tell Inter Miami fans to expect if Blackmon arrives? Yeah,
I think you're going to get like what feels like a profile that I'm not sure you guys had before, just in terms of the multifaceted traits, the speed, the ability on the ball, the passing vision.
How tall is he?
It's probably 6 foot, maybe 6'1" if we're being generous. Like he can be a threat.
It says 6'2".
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a bit aggressive. He can still be a threat on attacking set pieces. Like he can score goals. You saw that in CONCACAF where he'd pop up in the box and just be in the right place at the right time. Yeah, I think he's a pretty well-rounded center back, other than that, like asking him to do a bunch of stagnant kind of low block defending. So as long as you're not going to make him do that, then I think you're in a good spot. And I think for where Miami is at, which is that, who cares about the budget and we're just trying to run it back and win another MLS Cup. All you need is one good year out of him. So I think it's, if you can make the financials work, like, go for it. If you're Miami, I'm surprised they're in that mix, but I don't necessarily think it's a bad move for the Herons.
Honestly, I don't think that these moves are to win the second star or the second MLS Cup.
It's CONCACAF.
Yeah, it's CONCACAF. They're going all in on CONCACAF. What we need is 4 or 5 because I think that these moves, because everybody's like, oh my God, they're building a juggernaut. They're not building a juggernaut to win the MLS Cup. They want to compete with the Liga MX teams that don't have these salary constraints. So they're building that team to compete.
You need depth. You need serious depth to do that. I mean, we saw this even like in Vancouver. Pedro Vite, one of Vancouver's best players, goes to Pumas, and they use him as a depth player. And Pumas is like a mid-table Liga MX team. So that is what you're up against. And I think that's very real.
So, so that's ultimately what it is, I believe. And we'll see. But again, I appreciate you, Sam, on short notice jumping on. I know we were talking earlier this week about it. But we'll see. We'll see. So now we have conflicting reports. So maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. But regardless, I appreciate your insight. Let everybody know where they could find you if they want to hear more about Blackmon and Vancouver.
Sure. Yeah. Always fun coming on, guys. Didn't expect to be chatting this time of year, but good nonetheless. The thirdsub.ca, the third sub on all your socials. And we'll see what happens here. There's, as you said, where there's smoke, there's probably some kind of fire, but we'll have to see what happens.
Okay. All right, Sam. Appreciate you jumping on, and we'll be in touch. We'll be talking very soon. All right. So
Danny,
Chris,
before we keep going, we got a super slam from Jay Stubbs out here in these streets. $4.99 super slam says, last year when some rando said I don't go to MIA Messi's dad's runs the club, MLS fans was making fun. Now they're crying because players are taking pay cuts.
You remember that? It was like a random person, like in like the Netherlands or something, on a random podcast, and everybody.
It was just a drive-by.
It was just so dumb. I did see another comment, and it says, "Is David Ayala even good?" Now, I'm glad you asked that, because if you watch our show, you know that we try our best to keep up with everything on the MLS show in here. But we know we don't cover these guys as closely as some other people. So, we had to have a guest on to tell us a little more in detail. So we're going to bring on Louis, which has been on with us on the MLS show. He's a huge Portland Timbers fan. Hey, is your sound, you good?
Oh, can't hear you guys. I'm sorry. Let's see.
All good. So as he's rocking his Portland Trailblazers jersey, okay. I wonder if it's nice. Rasheed Wallace.
Okay. No, it probably looks like a Scottie Pippen jersey.
Ooh, Scottie Pippen, Rasheed Wallace. Yeah. If I was gonna get a Blazers jersey, I'd get a
Stoudemire jersey. I mean, what are you doing?
Damon Stoudemire? Nah, if I was gonna get Damon Stoudemire, I'd go Toronto Raptors.
No way.
I had Damon Stoudemire's Toronto Raptors jersey.
Is it
Rasheed Wallace?
Rasheed Wallace.
Boom, baby. What'd I tell you?
Yeah.
I'd rather get a Pistons Rasheed Wallace than a Blazers Rasheed Wallace.
No, that's the real Rasheed. That's the real Rasheed Wallace right there.
I'm from Portland, man. I'm not gonna get a Pistons anything.
so shout out to Louis. Thank you for
What's
joining
up, guys?
us. I'm sure you're well aware. The David Ayala, the Blackmon thing is still up in the air, but the David Ayala is now confirmed. So we have people in the chat, us ourselves. I was telling Chris last episode, hey, if David Ayala comes, he's gonna start because David Ayala is a baller. And Chris is like, no, he's not, blah, blah, blah. But forget what I'm saying. Forget what Chris is saying. You watch Portland Timbers on a game-to-game basis. Oh. So please give us some insight on David Ayala.
Well, to be honest with you, first of all, I'm not happy about this, not one bit. We're losing a really great piece. A kid who's I call him coming over he's 23 now, but I mean he spent most of his relevant professional career in the Timbers organization. He came over from Estudiantes de La Plata when he was 20, and that was 3 years ago. Yeah, 2022. No, going on 4 years now. 19. He came over when he was 19. And but I'm honestly not that surprised, I should say, that folks who don't follow the Timbers all that closely haven't heard of him, because that's kind of how he is. If he's doing his job well, you don't really notice him, except the occasion where he comes out and shows his passing and scoring prowess, which as a true number 6, a true defensive midfielder, he doesn't do often, but has occasionally shown himself able. The thing about this is, guys, I don't know if you may not have, guys, a lot of people in your fan base may not have heard of David Ayala, but they will have heard of Diego Chara. And David Ayala has been groomed, so they say, all these years to be the successor to the one and only irreplaceable original MLS Timber, Diego Chara, in that just number 6, keeping order a little bit, doing a little bit of everything. Your team sucks a lot more when he's not on the field kind of guy. And this just kind of truncates that completely. Whatever plan of that being in place is out the window now, without really another plan in place. And I'm not happy as a fan. I can't imagine most of the guys in the dressing room are that happy about this. I can't imagine the coaching staff is happy about this. I don't know where this came from. I mean, I imagine just, an agent came to him, his offer, Inter Miami is interested in you. You can go play with Messi for a couple of years and maybe get sold to Europe, which I think was, the only way he wasn't going to become a part of the long-term process in Portland is if he got so good that we just couldn't afford to keep him anymore, and a big time European club wanted him. That was going to be the plan. It was either he was going to be the successor to Diego Chara, be a part of this club for a long time, a staple, lead us to trophies and all that kind of stuff, or he was just going to get too good and we would sell him on for a lot more than it looks like we're going to get for him now, which is disappointing on a number of levels. Guys. Yeah.
I communicated with some people from Portland, and they were telling me that he had 1 year left on his contract, and the chances of him resigning were slim to none, because he was trying to move over to Europe. So they were trying to get something back for him.
If that is the case, then it makes more sense. It doesn't sting any less, because we just don't have, without him, unless they've got some signing on the back burner they haven't told us about, which, given their offseason so far, I don't have high hopes for. Actually, the past few off seasons, honestly, I don't have a ton of high hopes for. If that is the case, then we'll talk about that when we get to it. But for now, this just leaves a gaping hole. A great club culture guy, a little bit of do everything you ask of him kind of guy. Obviously, he slots in as a 6, but he can play higher up if you need him to. He has a little bit of shooting and passing ability, shot making ability, a little bit of more of offensive ability than Chara does even. Right now this is just a gut punch. They're just taking away the big piece for us.
As a center defensive midfielder, you feel he's going to be replacing Sergio Busquets. Obviously, he's not going to be at Sergio Busquets' level, right? That's obvious. But do you feel like he has the tools to give us something like what we're missing and we're going to be losing by losing Sergio Busquets? Like, can he provide in the attack from his 6th position?
Yes. I firmly believe that he can. He's shown us a little bit of that. He's not used in that capacity often, but whenever we've had injuries or just trying something different, he's slided in a few different positions up higher. And obviously he's not going to be Busquets. Nobody's going to be Busquets, not even Busquets at this late stage of his career that you had him. But yeah, mostly just because of the kind of guy he is. He's a workhorse. Like he's going to do anything that is asked of him, and he's going to do it to the best of his ability. And if they ask him to do something that's not playing to his strengths, he'll work at it and get better at it. This is just, a club that has had so many culture issues over the past couple of years. He's a guy that really, he epitomized what you want out of, especially a young player like that, especially compared to somebody like Santiago Moreno, who was just a whiner and a powder, and he finally forced his way out. They kind of came in at the same time and sort of fit the same profile when I was a little older. But he was a prima donna, and David Ayala was never a prima donna ever. He did what was asked of him. I don't think a kid coming up through the Estudiantes youth program thought he would end up, forging out the first few years of his pro career on a club like Portland Timbers. He probably didn't even know where Portland was, but he came. He joined, he did everything that was asked of him, and he became a stalwart. He became an indiscutible. Just a starter. Both coaches that had him loved him. He became a favorite of both, which is hard to do. And I mean, I just can't imagine he's not going to be a big time piece for Miami as well. And it's very sad to see him go.
As a center defensive midfielder, I'm sorry, Chris. As a center defensive midfielder, you said in the attack he can give you more than most center defensive midfielders could because he's good on the ball, good pass.
Yes, at least
even score. Defensively, what do you think about David Ayala?
Great ball winner, recuperador, as we would say. Great at that element. And then, I mean, imagine, you've got guys like Messi up there. He's not going to be asked to do as much in the attack as he was in Portland. Our attack is just, we haven't invested well in our attack in the past few years. And you've had to get, when things are going well, it means you've gotten stuff out of guys who are playing a little bit farther back like him. And I can't imagine him being asked to do that as much in Miami. But if he is, he can totally do that. I see no issue with that.
Well, I mean,
Chris,
it was more of a statement. Like, he's a center midfielder, but I do see him attacking at times when I was watching Portland, just because I love Kamal Miller and Phil Neville.
That's what I'm saying. It all depends on what he's asked to do. If you'll see that element of his game in Miami, I mean, it all depends on what he's asked to do in their system. But if he is asked to be part of the attack in their system, even spot start as number 8 or even a winger or whatever, if you want him to play more like that, he has those capabilities. It'll all depend on what's asked of him. But if he's asked to do that, I mean, he can do it.
Well, Luis, I appreciate you giving us some insight on David Ayala. I'm sorry that you lost him. One man's loss is another man's gain, and we're happy to have him. Let everybody know where they can find you, Luis.
Yes. Well, as I've said when I've been on with you before, I don't have a dedicated Timbers page, but you can find me covering primarily Club León of Liga MX. On all the social media, my name, Luis, Louis, Olnick, Olenick. You search for that, you'll find me on all the major platforms. And my podcast, well, our Club León podcast in English, we haven't recorded an episode in a while. It's been kind of dire straits in Club León land, but we made some nice signings and have high hopes for this upcoming season, which starts this weekend. So the Lions Den podcast, you can find that on X, YouTube, and we should be, I assume, hopefully, my colleagues are listening. Let's get a season preview episode for León getting going, and you can find us there.
Well, Luis, again, awesome, I appreciate you jumping on. I know you're a big Portland Timbers fan, even from Mexico. You're a big Portland Timbers fan, so I want to make sure I had you on because we love hearing from the I appreciate it, perspective. Guys. All right, Luis, have a good one, and again, thank you again.
Have a good one, guys. See ya.
All right. So you heard it here. David Ayala is a baller. You could tell that Luis was not happy about losing David Ayala. Good in the attack. Obviously not going to be Busquets per se, but he gives you some of that capabilities from that 6th position because he can attack. He's good on the ball. He can score. He can pass. So obviously, and I told Chris just 2 nights ago, if David Ayala arrives, David Ayala will be the starter. Now, Chris, how are you feeling about that?
Well, I mean, look, here's the thing. I don't know exactly how great he is defensively, right? I mean, the dude's 5'7". He's played, but he hasn't played as many games in the last couple of years. Like, I'm hoping that he pans out well, but he seems to me to push up a little bit more higher than Brightwood. So I think he maybe kind of like I mean, I guess he could be comparable more towards like I don't want to say Segovia because I imagine that this person plays better defensively.
He's a legit defensive midfielder. Segovia is not. Yeah.
Well, because I looked him up a little bit and he has played like a CM and then a CAM role. So I don't know. I mean, is it possible that he can venture a little bit more up ahead the field, up ahead in the pitch? Probably. I don't know. Listen, I'm not down for this, Danny. I need them to beat out Ian Frey and Yannick Bright. Like, stop with it. You're terrible.
Well, looking at David Ayala is going to start. He's going to be a U22. Okay, he's our fourth U22 player. And that means that we are going for sure with the designation of 2 DPs and 4 U22s. And that's what we're going to start the season with, unless they figure out a way to kind of loan off, or I'm sorry, not even loan. They have to sell off Toto Aviles. And unless they do that, which I don't see anybody buying him at this point of the year, maybe during the summer, we're going to go in with 4 U22s and 2 DPs, which will be Rodrigo De Paul and Messi, obviously, and the 4 U22s, which are Segovia, Toto Aviles, Silvetti, and now David Ayala. And I'm okay with that. I think that this is pretty good.
Is this true? Miami King 6'8" chiming in saying he's kind of Gomez guy. Really? If he turns into a Gomez guy?
I guess you could say that. I mean, Gomez played a little further up the pitch. He was more of a box-to-box 8. But I guess from the profile that everybody keeps telling us about David Ayala, he's technically like a box-to-box, but that just kind of plays that 6 role. But yeah, my understanding is that he's better on the ball than Diego Gomez would be. But yeah, so yes. David Ayala, huge pickup. Obviously, from what Lewis is saying, he's very distraught about it. I've heard other people, with the people that I reached out to from Vancouver. I reached out to so many people this week from Portland. And look, everybody's saying that this kid is a baller, that there were some clubs in Europe looking into him. So they knew that he wasn't going to be around past this season. So they wanted to make sure that they got something for him because his contract is up at the end of the season. So he would have just left for nothing. So they wanted to make sure they got something for him, and that's what they did. So David Ayala, huge pickup, huge part of this midfield. And if it's David Ayala, Segovia, and Rodrigo De Paul, you're cooking, especially in the attack, because all 3 of those guys. Mm-hmm.
All 3 of them can be able to move the ball up. They're more offensive minded. And then on top of that, you still have, like you said in the last episode, you have a MLS Cup winning champion, Yannick Bright, coming off the bench for any one of those 3 that you just mentioned. So yeah, I mean, we're setting this up to win trophies. I don't know if the management is going to repeat that again, but yeah, it seems like this season we're striving for multiple.
So I was looking into it, and David Ayala got the most interceptions in the league for someone that was not a center. No, I'm sorry, second most. Second most interceptions in the league for a player that was not a center back or a fullback.
And who got the first?
For somebody that was not a center back or fullback, that would have been Yep Verskov, the kid from San Diego. That was an absolute baller. Yes. So second most interceptions in the league last year for a player that was not playing on the back line. So he's a ball hawk.
Well, I just want to let it be known, Ian Slay is out here to slay anybody that's trying to take his position. Okay, you could try to do what you want, say what you want, but you're cooked, Danny.
So we just spoke about Tristan Blackmon, which is not a done deal. We don't know what's going to happen. We have contradicting reports. I had heard that it could happen. Luis, our reporter guy, said that it was going to happen. Michelle Kaufman said, "Hey, it's happening." And then Tom Bogart said, "Well, not so fast." And then Vancouver, because they heard the backlash, they're like, "Oh, let's put out a statement right now. Let them know it's not happening." So we'll see where that goes. If he doesn't come, I think that we're still okay. Our back line looks pretty set already. Yeah. Like if he comes, I'm not understanding where he's going to play. Is he going to start? Is he going to be on the bench? Is he going to be a right back? Start. So, but if he comes, that's great. If he doesn't come, I don't think that's a huge loss because I think we're already set on the back line. Even with our backups, like we have Noah Allen, left back and center back backup. We have Ian Frey, right back and center back backup. We have Lujan, the Swiss Army knife, which is technically a backup. We have Toto Aviles, the U22, which is a backup. So, like, I think we're set, right? Muda is the starter at right back. Like, we're set on our back line. So Tristan Blackmon would just be a luxury because he's not necessarily needed. Now, I think we're a little thinner in the midfield, and I think David Ayala was a huge pickup. I think that's great. I think he's going to help. And if you have Yannick Bright coming off the bench again, that's huge. You know what? Yannick Bright is coming off the bench in the 70th minute to replace either Ayala or Rodrigo De Paul, or if we're trying to defend the lead late in the game, come in for Segovia. Like, I think that's a huge get. Yannick Bright coming in as a sub, now Ayala will probably start.
Yeah.
Now, another thing that came out. Oh, go ahead.
No, he's a starter. Bright's a starter on a lot of other MLS teams. So to have him on the bench, it's phenomenal. Go ahead.
And then just real quick, as far as Tristan Blackmon is, honestly, the biggest reason I think that it would be funny to get him is just because it frustrates people that we got the goalie of the year and just adding the defensive player of the year, not because we need him, but just because, like, hey, let's just get him. It's funny.
I mean, look, that's what we're doing, and we're getting everybody on the cheap. Everybody wants to play with Messi. Listen, the one point I was trying to make to the guests that we had is, fortunately, because we have Messi, people are willing to take a pay cut because they want eyes on them. Because, look, this is a big year, especially if you want to represent your country, in the World Cup. I'll take this. I'll take that deal any day of the week and twice on Sunday.
Yeah, no. And look, if you're Argentine, you're 22 years old, and you have a chance to play with Messi, and you were going to play in the MLS this year anyway. You were either going to play in Portland under Phil Neville, or you were going to go play next to Rodrigo De Paul and Messi in Miami, whether it be for 1 year before he goes to Europe. Like, if they tell me, like, hey, you're going to be in the MLS for a year anyway. You want to stay over there and play in Portland, or would you like to come live in Miami for a year? I feel like that's a selling point on itself. And then you get to play with Messi and Rodrigo De Paul. Like, he'll probably do it for half the salary. Yeah, he'll do it for half the salary. And he'll get a lot more eyes on him than he had in Portland. He's going to be playing in international tournaments. And come on now. So it's a no-brainer. And I understand that everybody in the MLS, other fan bases are pissed off. But, like, it makes sense. Like, come on. Like, this makes sense. And also, shout out to Solana. Chris is going to be on the MLS show with Solana and Xavier Lavos, Las Garzas, at 10 o'clock. Solana said, I don't know why other teams aren't doing this. Why are they crying? They're not doing this. Look, I love that Miami's doing this, but let's not be hypocrite. Like, come on. Nobody else can do this. Like,
Messi is the key.
Yeah, he's like, oh, nobody else is trying. No, there's no trying. Like, unless they have Messi, none of this has happened. David Ayala is not running to Miami just because. Like, it's not Jorge Mas. Like, that's a great salesman. It's like, hey, come on, man, just come over. Like, it's silly. Like, Solana here selling, I don't know what he's doing. Maybe he's just trolling, because what he's saying makes absolutely no sense.
Well, and I think even without Messi, could we get big names in the future? Possibly, right? But you're not going to hound all of really great players to come and play on the cheap without Messi. So I completely get that. And that's why I was saying I'm enjoying the tears on Twitter, because at this point, it's the time that we can enjoy it. 2-3 years from now, I don't know if that's coming, this feeling that we have as villains. 3 years from now, it might not be here. But right now, I'm embracing it. And my name is Jeff. Says Chris, Danny, do you guys going to discuss anything or just fantasize about scenarios? Is Aviles out if Ayala is U22? I heard there's a U23 slot.
I thought I just discussed this. I just said we have 4 U22s, Aviles being one of them. It's going to be hard to sell them in this transfer window. So if they're going to sell them, it will probably be the next transfer window. I wouldn't be surprised if Segovia also leaves in the summer transfer window. And what else do you want us to say? Like, we're talking about what we know. Chelsea is not coming. And so we're going to go with 2 DPs and 4 U22s. Now, another news that has seems like it's just about official tissue. Tade Allende is coming back like we said he was, right? Michelle Kaufman reported it. We believe her. We said it couldn't be for a DP because it would make no sense for it to be for a DP. And you know what? It's not for a DP is what's being reported. That it's not for a DP. Now, the only way that makes sense is if he's staying in Celta Vigo and he's going to be loaned to us again, or he's being purchased by another team and being loaned to us. Because otherwise, I don't see how that works, not being a DP. But regardless, he will not be a DP. He will not take a DP spot. So now let's see if what we saw during that 9-game run for the playoffs is like a real thing, or if it was just a mirage, something that just lasted a couple months, and we're gonna see old Allende back. I'm glad that they rolled the dice on it just to see, like, maybe he did figure it out. Maybe he is about to go ahead and ball out for a whole season and win the Golden Boot, because God knows if he wouldn't have missed so many shots last year, he could have won the Golden Boot last year. But we'll see. So I'm glad that he's coming back. Glad that we're going to give him a second try now that he's kind of figured things out. He has a year under his belt in the MLS, and we'll see. But not a DP, so it's definitely a win.
Well, and Mitch is saying that Segovia can be bought down, that he read that'll open up a U22 and keep the third DP free. I mean, look, let them cook.
Well, there's not going to be a DP filling. We're not going to get a DP in this transfer window. I've been saying that since like before we even, I think, made the playoffs. Like,
yeah,
we're not going to get a DP. It's going to happen in the summer, where any big name is not coming to the MLS right now. So the DP thing, don't even worry about it. It's pointless to leave it open. Decide if they buy down Segovia, then get another U22, because it's pointless to have a DP spot open right now because it's not going to get filled until the summertime.
Yeah, and just, I guess, one more comment. Miami King saying, guys, Ayala is 23 years old, not U22.
But he was still in the U22 designation for Portland, so he kind of goes with us for that. I'm not sure how that works. I know Campana, his last season as a U22 for us was 23 years old also. So I'm not sure exactly what the terminology is there under that rule. I don't know if I don't know. But I know that the same thing happened with Campana, where he was 23 years old that last season we had him as a U22.
I want to mention something here. Claudio is mentioning a U.S. Open Cup would be a nice one in the cabinet. Listen, after seeing Nashville,
we're not going to participate in that
so happily. And the thing is, the fans are enjoying it so much. I kind of never want to win that trophy ever.
Why?
Because, man, like, it's such a crappy tournament. You're playing against like Kendall United. Like, come on, man.
If we participated and I want to win it, I just want them to expand the roster.
But it's not even going to be ours. It's going to be Inter Miami CF2's trophy. Does that count as a trophy for Messi?
That's technically, a good question. I wonder. Well, I wish that they would let those players play but represent Inter Miami 1, so that once they get to the quarterfinals, all of a sudden, then we can bring the big boys. That's what they do in the other countries. Like, all the young bucks play, and then all of a sudden they get into the quarterfinals, semifinals of the FA Cup, and all of a sudden they bring the big boys to start playing.
Imagine Mitch Rodriguez, Hialeah FC versus Messi. We see Messi go play in Hialeah. No way.
All right. And then the final official signing, Mikhail, is finally official. Inter Miami posted it. I had a full episode on him on Sunday. We also talked about him on Monday. I feel like he slots in for sure as a center back. He is kind of the profile that you want. He has good recovery speed. He's 6'3". He's a great one-on-one defender. He's a lefty. He's good distributing the ball. So I feel like everything that you want from a center back. And he also has the experience, which is my favorite part of his profile, is that he has the experience in the MLS. He was one of the best defenders in 2024. Yeah. He was the star of the back line when Houston allowed the second least amount of goals that season. So, he had experience in Palmeiras last year, even though he didn't get as much playing time, I'm sure, as he would have wanted. But look, all good things. I think that's a huge signing. And our back line is already set. We don't need Tristan Blackmon. After we got Mikhail, we don't need Tristan Blackmon. I think that's just luxury at this point. So I'm happy. And again, if you haven't heard, I had a full episode about him just a couple of days ago. And then Sakudari saying Palmeiras. Well, when that's what fans do when they have to, like, oh, good, he's gone. Yeah, we're good.
Well, and I mean, look, I think he's a good fit for the team. I just wonder how it's going to work when we get Blackmon, and I don't know if it's going to happen. But if it does happen, I mean, defensively, we're just super stacked, Mm-hmm. Like, it's going to be a problem for the entire league next year.
And like I said, they're not building Voltron to try to help to beat Real Salt Lake or Colorado Rapids. Like, no, they're doing this because they want to compete with the Liga MX teams that don't have those salary restrictions. So when they play them in Champions Cup, when they play them in Leagues Cup, they want to be able to compete with these teams because their rosters are full of depth. Yeah. So how do you do that? You get a bunch of depth on your team. You stack your team. So, yeah, I understand why MLS teams are upset because when we play against them, obviously our team's probably going to be much better than them roster-wise. They could still lose games, right? This is still football. But what they're really doing is they're stacking the team to win those big international trophies. The CCC, the Leagues Cup, even if you want to not consider it an international trophy, it is because you're playing against Liga MX. So that's why they're doing this. And I respect it because Jorge Mas said, and this was the goal. And not only did he say it, but he's backing it up. He's letting us know this is the goal because he's going all in on it.
Well, I'm looking forward to see what's going to happen, Danny, because we've been cooking and it's spicy in the kitchen.
Yeah. All right. Chris, is there anything else that you want to touch on? Because we just wanted to go ahead and touch on the signings today. Yeah, go ahead.
So that's it. Well, all right. So we're done. We're not going to cover anything else because I do have final words.
Yeah. What else do you want to talk about?
I just want to mention something before we head out. I want to thank everybody that was in the chat with us. Guys, take the time, like and subscribe. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, I'm not going to knock any other podcasts, but there's no podcast, not just in Miami, but no podcast out in the country that's going out and getting actual people that cover the content that we're bringing to you guys, and we're getting those people so that way you guys can get the real deal Holyfield. I don't know if any of you guys have checked it out, but the Battered MLS channel, we just did an interview with Alan, who lives in Scotland, and he went over the whole Wilfred Nazi and Celtic thing. Guys, if you guys haven't, check it out. Like and sub. We work hard on that stuff. So I just want to make sure that that's out there.
Yeah, definitely. Look, we're having a lot of fun on the MLS show also. If you're at all interested in the rest of the MLS, we did the episode at 6 a.m. this morning. So this is our second show today. We did we're 6 a.m. live. We did the Battered MLS fans. And then we did yeah, look, I spoke to Gresso. He said that he would, and then he kind of ghosted us. But then again, what are we going to talk to him about? But, whatever. All right. So I think that's it. I guess those are your final words then, Chris.
Yes, that's it. Those are my final words. Shout out to Xavier Pennies. You guys make being a fan 10 times more fun. Listen, you guys make being a fan of this 10 times more fun. So right back at you, buddy.
He said, make a shirt that says we are cooked. I consider that. I'm wearing the look. A lot of people saying we're building the Avengers. Aren't the Avengers superheroes?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're definitely not the Avengers. I was thinking more NWO. No, for those of you that are wrestling fans, we're the Hair on World Order. We're the New World Order, Hair on World Order. We're just picking everybody up and then just kicking Sting's ass all year long. I don't know who Sting would be, but we're just kicking everybody's ass. And then that's what's fun about it. Speaking of superheroes, I'll end it with this. I've never really been into like comic books. I've just always liked Captain America because he's from Brooklyn, and then Spider-Man just because who doesn't like Spider-Man?
My favorite.
Yeah, and who doesn't like Spider-Man? So those are always my favorite two, and those are the only movies I ever watched. So during the break, my son just randomly decided that he wanted to watch Fantastic Four because it like popped up or something.
Ooh, it just dropped. A good one.
It ended up being good.
Chris Evans is a hottie.
Oh, he is, but it was the new Fantastic Four.
Oh,
they had just made a new one, I guess.
That garbage.
Have you watched it?
No, I haven't watched it.
So how the fuck do you know it's garbage?
I mean, come on. It looks like garbage.
Anyway.
And by the way, my favorite superhero on X-Men is Gambit. He's the best.
Yeah. Oh. So, shut up, Florida, man. I'm going to get you that scarf. So, he decided we want to watch it. And it ended up being a pretty good movie. And then we decided that we were just going to start watching the whole Marvel universe because, like, it's a thing that started back in 2008. Like,
you're naughty.
We started with the Captain America and then Iron Man and the Hulk. And then it has, like, a timeline on Disney Plus.
Yes.
And I tell you all of this because, man, those movies are really good.
Yeah. No, they're phenomenal.
And I've never really given them a chance outside of Captain America and Spider-Man. They are really entertaining and they're funny.
Oh no, you're crazy. You don't watch the X-Men? You don't watch the X-Men movies? But
the X-Men isn't part of the Marvel universe. At least not yet.
Well, I mean, the X-Men's Marvel. What do you mean? X-Men's not Marvel?
But like the
universe.
way they do, like the look again. I'm new to this, okay? So don't kill me for those of you that are hardcore into this.
What are you doing? Stancy's telling you, calling you out. You're
it's like 15 years later. Yeah,
late.
but you know what? I'm gonna enjoy it so much more than everybody else because I'm getting to watch one after the other. Like we watch the movies, and then when the credits come out, we like fast forward to the very end where it like gives you like a little teaser for the next movie. And guess what? Unlike you losers that had to wait a whole year, I get to watch it right after. So you guys can suck it, okay? But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun. Like in the last like 10 days, we've watched like 7 or 8 of the movies already.
Hold on, I got this. This is a bad comment from you, Jeff.
I'm with
it's
you.
Okay, you're an adult. You should know everything about Marvel. Listen, there were comic books that came out before we were even born. What are you even talking about?
I never read comic books.
You're not, Danny. You and I went to the comic book store across the street from you, bro.
Nope, you're misremembering that. I never went. No, I never read comic books. I never read comic books. I've always been into sports. I never liked comic books.
They sold cards over there too. They sold basketball cards, football cards, baseball cards.
You're misremembering, man. I never went anywhere like that. That's one thing that I hated when I first moved to Miami is that they never had any like trading card places.
Because they did across the street from you.
Okay, but you misremember. I wasn't here for that. I'm telling you, I wasn't here. All right.
Yes.
Anyway, all right. So anyway, I appreciate everybody hanging out.
Playing D&D. Get out of here. What do I look like?
Same thing as comic books. All right.
No, it's not.
Speaking of D&D, shout out to my wife. I don't know if she's listening or watching after the fact, but she's been on this Stranger Things is going to have a secret extra episode thing, like hardcore for the last couple of days.
My son brought that up earlier today.
Oh my God. But she's been like in it. Like she's watching like all the conspiracy and theories and like watching like videos and things that kind of point to it's going to happen. And let me tell you something. Netflix is like really like trolling people and like getting the engagement because they're like just dropping random things and pictures to make people think it. If it doesn't happen, shout out to Netflix just for like keeping that going for an extra week because they really like it's pretty cool.
I mean, QAnon for Stranger Things fans, absolutely. Mitch is confirming it, locked in, not happening, guys.
No, that's what I figured also. But man, it's interesting if you like go into that black hole of Stranger Things conspiracies. Like they point out a lot of things that it's like, oof, they had a good opportunity to have done something special because that would have been pretty freaking cool.
Well, for those of you that were still wanting soccer talk, Judas is in the chat saying Silvetti, Messi, Allende is the front three.
Yeah, I would hope so. Allende looked best when Suarez was on the bench. So, all right. Again, if you are still wanting some more soccer talk and you speak Spanish, or if you're just there for the vibes, Las Garzas starting in a couple minutes. So make sure that you jump on there. Chris gave us final words. If you're listening on audio, appreciate you listening to until the end. Leave us 5 stars and a comment. If you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe for those of you in the chat. As always, you guys are the best part of the show. And we'll be back. And next time, for that person saying, are we ever going to say anything? Next time, hopefully we have some for sure news and we could really talk about the starting 11 because that's it. Training camp starting in a couple of days. So we got our final roster looking very, very soon. So we'll be talking about that and whatever else comes up. So until the next one, have a good one.